Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 10.
Basically, you guys are deeming me guilty by not investigating anything, and just because I'm a Muslim and a black woman in this country.
A day after our report that a Grand Forks woman was arrested for terroristic threats, she called Valley News Live claiming she's innocent.
In an exclusive interview with Valley News Team's Joshua Pagero, she says she's being targeted.
In an interview that was more than 20 minutes long, Hawa Ahmed was adamant that she's innocent of the recent charge. The 26-year-old was arrested for threatening to cut 3 people with a knife.
I feel like I'm being attacked because I'm a Muslim woman living in Grand Forks.
Court documents detail several serious allegations. That she not only threatened the lives of 3 women, but threatened to slash their tires and break their car windows. Throughout our interview, Ahmed claimed that she didn't do it.
And I turned myself in because I know that I didn't commit the crime. I'm innocent, and I know I can prove it.
Grand Forks police say one of the victims feared for her life because Ahmed is known to climb onto balconies at her apartment complex.
I don't climb balconies. I am not a terrorist, and I'm not a threat to this country. I love this country.
Despite her claim that she's being targeted because of her race and religion, we obtained court documents showing a lengthy criminal history. Her crimes are traced to Iowa, North Dakota, and Minnesota, and include third-degree assaults and then giving a peace officer a false name. At one point, she was accused of tampering with a witness in a major federal human trafficking case in 2011 out of Minneapolis. Ahmed says she was acquitted in that case.
I've already been convicted in public. They already see me as the guilty Muslim terrorist that needs to be sent back to her country, that doesn't belong here.
She says she's hired an attorney to fight her current case. Until it goes to trial, she's out on bond. In Grand Forks, Joshua Pagero, Valley News Live.
If she's found guilty of the felony charge of terrorizing, she could spend 5 years in prison and be fined $10,000.
It sounds like we've got one more day of dry and quiet weather before that major winter storm hits. Robert, how's it looking tomorrow morning?
Overnight tonight into tomorrow morning, not too bad at all. We're actually going to see temperatures not fluctuating too much from where they are right now, maybe cooling a few degrees in some areas, maybe warming a few degrees in some areas, and everyone right now, thankfully, above zero. Some single digits and teens out there. Those winds generally out of the south and southeast, 5 to 15 with occasional stronger gusts. We'll continue to see those overnight wind chills as cold as 12 below in Langdon, minus 10 in Hallock and Arozo. Partly to mostly cloudy overnight tonight. Underneath those clouds, a few isolated flurries not out of the question. We will see a lot of flaky weather over the weekend. Winter storm watch in effect for much of the region. More on to that storm and a second major storm on that 7-day forecast. We'll get to all that here in just a little bit.
All right, thanks, Robert.
You got it.
Make sure you can get the forecast when you need it with the latest version of the Valley News Live Storm Team Weather app. Download the latest version for free so that you don't miss important alerts. All you have to do is search VNL Weather in your app store.
The Moorhead police officer who was charged with aggravated assault last year is set to go to trial. Court documents indicate that 33-year-old Matthew Lambert hit a woman in the face with his elbow, causing a broken nose and a contusion to her right eye. The woman was arrested by police on September 9th, accused of having a handgun at Buffalo Wild Wings in Moorhead. Documents also state that Fargo police were later called to Sanford Hospital after Lambert said he tackled her and she hit her face on the bed. Further investigation found that Lambert hit the woman with his elbow when she was handcuffed. Lambert is currently on unpaid administrative leave. His trial is set to start on June 18th.
The man accused of kidnapping Wisconsin teenager Jamie Kloss and holding her for nearly 3 months has apologized to Jamie in a letter he wrote to NBC affiliate KARE 11. Jake Patterson also indicated in his letter that he plans to plead guilty. KARE 11 reporter Lou Raguse in Minneapolis received a letter from Patterson postmarked February 28th. In it, Patterson answered questions Raguse had previously sent about Jamie's kidnapping from her family's home in Barron, Wisconsin last October. Patterson is also accused of killing the teen's parents. He wrote that he provided police as much detail as he did so they didn't have to interview Jamie. They did anyway and hurt her more for that reason. Quote, I knew when I was caught, which I thought would happen a lot sooner, I wouldn't fight anything, Patterson wrote. He also wrote on the back of his letter, I'm sorry, Jamie, for everything. I know it doesn't mean much. We have a link to it, the full transcript, on our website, valleynewslive.com.
A woman is dead from injuries suffered during a break-in and assault at her home. Now authorities in Blue Earth County are asking for help in catching those responsible. Law enforcement say 76-year-old Evelyn Adams from Mankato, Minnesota, was assaulted after a break-in at her home on February 23rd. They say a neighbor and Adams herself called 911. Days later, Adams died from her injuries. Police people who knew Adams say that they can't imagine who would want to hurt her. Investigators say they do not have a clear description of the suspect or the vehicle involved, partly because the night of the break-in, there was a blizzard in Mankato, which made it very hard to see.
Former Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort has been sentenced to 47 months in prison, or almost 4 years, for tax and bank fraud related to his work advising Ukrainian politicians. Manafort was convicted on 8 counts, concluding that he hid from the IRS millions of dollars he earned from his work in Ukraine and failed to pay taxes on it. Manafort still faces sentencing in the District of Columbia, where he pleaded guilty in a separate case connected to illegal lobbying.
The newest flood forecast shows an increased threat along the Red River through Fargo and Moorhead. There's now a 95% chance of the Red River going above 31 feet, where the city says it would see typical flooding. Public Works Supervisor Ben Dow says that there's enough protection in place to keep homes and businesses dry.
That level of flood, most people in town would not even know it's taking place, other than the inconvenience of the Elm Street closed and the 12th Avenue Bridge.
It was back in 2009 the Red River water levels hit a record 40 plus feet. Since then, the city has bought out 240 houses to make way for levees and flood walls. And the city is still finishing up on other projects to provide more flood protection.
The Minnesota Senate today overwhelmingly passed a bill allowing school districts to write off snow days. In this record-setting brutal winter, Minnesota schools are also setting records for the number of snow days they've had to call because the weather is just too bad. That's why Senator Carla Nelson of Rochester thinks the state needs to step in. In normal winters, schools must make up snow days, even if they have to extend the school year. But this year, Nelson told the Senate some districts need to make up as many as 10 days. The snow day exemption would apply only to this winter. So what do the students, what do they think?
Who wants a longer school year?
No one. No one.
Who wants a shorter school year?
We'll call that a consensus.
Nelson's bill also encourages schools to develop an e-learning curriculum so children can learn from home even when the weather is too rough.
North Dakota is the last state in the nation with Sunday closing laws. Some lawmakers are still working to allow stores to open before noon on Sundays. Those who are for it say it should be up to business owners to choose when they want to operate and say it promotes fairness to repeal it. Those who are against it say church attendance will drop, having a negative effect on the state.
Why does the state government not trust people to make responsible choices that are in their own best interests? Or better still, why does the government care at all about what North Dakotans do and how they spend their time?
Money, 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 but we can't serve both God and money. And when we do it to our own peril. So who is going to look after the morals of our society?
The Senate committee took no action today. The bill passed the House a few weeks ago.
As a mom, it's great. He can bring new things home to do, play instead of sitting in front of the TV with Xbox or YouTube.
Families at Washington Elementary in North Fargo got to stay active and stretch their brain power, all while learning about science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. Students weren't the only ones who got in on all the fun. Parents could also take part. They helped make musical instruments, build bridges, and even had an egg drop competition. This family night was held to introduce parents to the 21st century skills and concepts their children have been using daily at Washington Elementary.
Looked like fun. Later on